FC Barcelona just signed João Cancelo on loan in a deal that sees the Portuguese fullback return to the club for the next 6 months. Let's talk about it. Hi, my name is Michael. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. And today we're going to be talking about Barcelona's first signing of 2026, being João Cancelo. He's coming back to the club for the next 6 months on a loan deal with an option to buy. Now we're going to be looking at the deal itself, why it happened, how it happened. We're also going to be looking at the positives from the deal, the negatives as well. I'm going to be giving my overall thoughts on the transfer, and I'm also going to be trying to predict when we could see him play his first game back at the club. Now, to start things off, how did this deal happen? We should know that João Cancelo had a falling out with his club, Hilal, and the club wanted to sell him. Inter Milan were very much interested in signing him, but João Cancelo only wanted to come back to Barcelona, so he reached out to Barcelona asking if there was a possibility that they could sign him again. Barcelona had to go and talk to Hansi Flick about it, if he fits in his project and in his plans, and Flick ultimately gave the approval to sign João Cancelo on loan. Now Barcelona went on to agree a deal with Hilal for a loan move with an option to buy. It's a low-cost deal and Barcelona would not be paying his full salary. Now Barcelona have not officially announced this deal yet. It's not been official that he's a Barcelona player just yet, but I do think the deal will obviously happen. He is going to be a new Barcelona signing this year. Now we have to look at the positives from this deal. Now for me, I think he adds to the quality of the squad. He adds to the overall squad depth. The fact that you have players who can come in and make an impact on the game is really important to Hansi Flick, so I think that he's going to be a great addition to the squad. He's also a low-cost addition, meaning that Barcelona aren't going to be paying much salary. We're not going to sign him and put him on high wages, but rather we cover a certain percentage of his wages, which would help Barcelona be able to register him and not have any issues with his registration with La Liga. Now I do think he's also really good going forward. I think that's his biggest strength, because João Cancelo going forward, he is better than the other fullbacks that we have at the club. Players like Balde, players like Koundé, Eric Garcia even, and Gerard Martin when he's playing on the left, I think he is better going forward than all those players. He brings a different dynamic. He might also be able to help the forwards to combine properly. Players like Lamine Yamal, combining with a fullback that is making runs in behind him, a fullback that can actually attack spaces and give you really good link up. I think it's going to be really good for Hansi Flick as well. I also think he fits the team's playing style. I think Hansi Flick's football involves you attacking most of the time, and I think he's a really good attacking fullback. So for someone like João Cancelo, I think he's going to thrive in playing under Hansi Flick. So yeah, going forward, he's really good at it, and I think that when it comes to the squad depth, he's going to add to the squad depth, right? He's not going to come in and just start off of the likes of Koundé or Balde. I think he's going to also be on the bench. He can come off the bench, he can make an impact on the game. When Flick needs another dynamic of his fullbacks, I think he can bring him on and he can play him, right? We have a lot of games, it's a long season, injuries can happen, suspensions can happen, fatigue. So I think it's a really smart signing from Barcelona to go in and get a low-cost, experienced fullback that can attack and help the squad going forward. Now we have to look at the negatives from the deal. I think the one negative from signing João Cancelo is the fact that he is defensively poor. That is a glaring aspect of his game that over the years has been coming up every single time. I think that when it comes to defensively, he can get exposed, right? Opposition teams can target him and he can be the weak link in the defense, right? And this is just speaking from experience as a Barcelona fan. I think we watched the games against PSG, although Araujo was the spotlight of that game, but I think when you look at João Cancelo's performance in that game, he was really, really poor. He failed to mark his man. That led to the first goal for PSG. He also went and gave away a penalty, which was meaningless, which made Barcelona go behind in that game. I think that he was also very poor against the likes of Real Madrid, where he was coming up against players like Lucas Vazquez, and he made Lucas Vazquez look really, really good in that game. So I think overall, when teams come up against him, if they can target him, you can get something out of him. And when you're playing for Barcelona, this team that has kind of struggled defensively this season, that just adds more question marks by signing someone is really not good defensively. He's not going to help improve the defense, rather he might make it a little bit more chaotic. So that's the main issue when it comes to João Cancelo. I think his defensive attributes are really poor, and Barcelona are also playing really high. I don't know if he can cope defensively playing for Barcelona. I don't know if he can cope defensively playing in the high line, but we will have to wait and see for that. Also, another negative, I think this is just going to be a short-term fix. I don't think Barca might end up going on to sign him permanently. And if Barca don't end up signing him in the summer, then it just means that Barca might have to go back into the market looking for another fullback again. So I think this might just be a short-term fix that we might use for the next 6 months. So overall, I think that those are the two negatives of him. I think it's just the fact that he can get exposed defensively, and I think this is just a short-term fix for the fullback areas. Now, when can we expect to see him play? Now, given the fact that Barcelona have not announced his deal officially, I don't think we're going to see him in the Super Cup. However, we might be looking at seeing him against Real Sociedad on the 18th of January. I think he might be on the bench for that game because by then he would have been announced officially and then he would have trained with the team. Then he would be match ready to face Real Sociedad. I think he's going to be on the bench for that game. He might just come off and get like 15 minutes. But yeah, I think that's when we get to see him play his first game. Now, overall, I think he's a decent signing for FC Barcelona. He's coming in on low wages. He's not going to come in to displace anyone like Koundé or Balde in the starting lineup. I think he's great going forward. He helps the team offensively. He brings a different dynamic going forward as a fullback, the one that we don't really have in the club right now. He's good for squad depth. Hansi Flick would really appreciate that, getting someone who can come in and who can play on either flanks. He's really good for Hansi Flick. I think the only negatives is the fact that he's poor defensively. I think Barcelona looked at this deal and thought that the positives outweigh the negatives because, again, like I said, he's great going forward. He's on low wages. He's coming into the team to add to the squad depth. He's an experienced player. He's familiar with the club and everything. So I think Barca looked at this deal and said, yeah, we could go for him. It's a low risk and possibly high reward type of deal. The only issues are the fact that he's poor defensively. Those are my thoughts on the overall deal. What do you guys think? Do you guys think Barcelona made the right choice going for João Cancelo? Or are you guys still skeptical about the signing? Let me know your thoughts. Again, like the video, comment on the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel, and thank you all for watching. I'll see you guys on the next one.